You've looked at all of the glowing reviews of the Aputure 300D Mark II already, but all those videos are from over 3 years ago at this point. You're looking at the lineup of lights that have been released since then and you're thinking to yourself, is the Aputure 300D2 still worth it in 2023? Well, I'm here to answer definitively that it is. It's not? It might be. What's up, everybody? I'm Tyler Tripo, a gaffer based in Denver, Colorado. Let's find out if the Aputure 300D Mark II is the right light for you 3 years after its release. First, we'll dive into the pros of this unit, where I'll highlight some of my favorite features. Then I'll get into a few negatives that I've found. Afterwards, I'll explore how the competition stacks up. And finally, I'll tell you who I think this light is for and who might want to wait to purchase one. Starting out, it's got a near bomb-proof build construction. Aputure's attention to detail is obvious in every little thing, even though this unit came out before their Pro line even started. Honestly, my only hiccup with the build of this whole unit is that the 5-pin connector between the head and ballast isn't as strong as what they use on their Pro models. That's it. Otherwise, their design inclusions like a separate head and ballast make this unit super easy to use on set. I love being able to place this light somewhere that I can't reach it, like on a boom or a menace arm, and still be able to control it. With little feet on the back of the ballast, I could even set this on the ground or a nearby table if necessary. Even the orientation of the plugs that connect the head and the ballast shows thoughtfulness and design. Instead of having the cables poke out the sides, they've run the head cable out the top of the ballast and the power cable out from the bottom. This lowers the possibility of someone knocking the unit over on set because you've got wires dangling out. Another benefit is how quiet the operation of the whole unit is. A fanless ballast means that I can place this wherever is convenient for me to control the light, and the head unit is pretty much inaudible unless I'm at 100% power and placing it right next to the sound guy's mic. I won't say too much about the color accuracy because I don't have a light meter that can test for that yet. I highly recommend the video from Curtis Judd, as well as the one from Andrew Locke on Gaffer and Gear. The lightning clamp, Aputure's genius solution for connecting the ballast to a stand, is an amazing piece of hardware. I judge how every other light manufacturer connects their ballast to a stand to this piece of gear. In fact, I love it so much that I bought it separately for my F22C just to make using that light that much easier. To store all of this stuff, they give you this awesome case. We're not going to open it just yet. We're going to explore inside this a little bit later, but I did want to mention it now. Finally, a must-have accessory if you're working with this light on set, the Fresnel 2X in spot mode has a similar output to the 600D with a reflector on it. I got a chart on the screen here with the results of my output testing for these, and I can confidently say that this light packs a punch output-wise for the relatively small amount of power draw that it has. Other, lesser talked about features that Aputure implemented on this light are things like heat-resistant tubing for the head cable, gives me one less thing to worry about when this unit gets left in the hot Colorado sun all day. Using a Nutric cable for the power cord means I don't have to worry about the power coming accidentally unplugged from the unit. The baby receiver doubles as a junior pin if you remove the screw, so there's more ways to mount this light if you're in a pinch. The 360-degree yoke swivel saves you from having to unplug and replug the light as you make adjustments. This isn't something I use very often, but having USB power on the side of the ballast allows you to charge your phone or other smaller lights from the unit. Also, if you're running a CRMX dongle into the DMX port, you'll be able to power it directly from the unit as well, which is kind of nice. The last feature, and another thing I kind of rarely use being a primarily commercial gaffer, the built-in effects are handy to have on the odd chance that they get called for by the DP. We've covered most of the bullet points that you can find on the Aputure store page, but since this unit has been out for a while now, what are the benefits that aren't typed out on their website? First and foremost, you're buying proven longevity in the marketplace. This isn't a light that I've seen fail on a film set ever. It just works and works, even after taking a bit of a beating. And having confidence in my gear is one of the most important intangibles as a working lighting technician. Second to that, you're buying into an ecosystem where everything works together well. The accessories are all designed to work cohesively, the app controls every light, and between Amaran and Aputure, you're now able to cover pretty much any type of light that you could want. I've found the Sidus Link app to be handy in quite a few ways on set, the most important of which is being able to adjust all my lights in my kit while I'm looking at a director's monitor with the DP next to me. This has a level of professionalism that you just can't put a price on. If you're not sure where you're going to find power from on your next shoot, this light can also run off battery power. V-mount batteries for this can be bought for like $140 nowadays. You do need 2 of them to run the light at full power, but it's a really inexpensive way to have a powerful light on the go compared to 5 years ago. A cool feature is that this light gives you an estimation of how long it can run at the current power level off of the battery power. Like I've mentioned, the bag it comes with is a great piece of kit, and if you do some rearranging, it can hold all of the accessories that I'd normally put with this light for a rental. This includes the 2X Fresnel, as well as the barn doors, grid, and gel holder pieces. Little efficiencies like this means the less boxes I need to bring with me on set, the less trips I have to take, and the faster I'm able to set everything up. I'm sure it wasn't Aputure's original intention, but I am glad that I carry all of that stuff inside this little carrying case here. Another pro is that unless you're trying to balance against the sun or use really dense diffusion, this unit has plenty of punch for 99% of the scenarios that you're going to find yourself in when you're starting out as a filmmaker. Aputure has also released a bunch of accessories that give this light so much versatility. Being able to turn the light into a spotlight or 10x the output with the Fresnel makes the light usable in so many scenarios. This light is going to start out as a key light, and as you acquire equipment, it can easily become an accessory light to give your image a little something extra. So I've gone over all of the things that I consider to be the pros of this unit, but are there any drawbacks to this unit? Well, the reflector hotspot is a con that has been covered by most channels, but I only ever use this with the Fresnel if I'm going to be using it as a hard source. If you find yourself using the reflector often though, this might end up being a drawback for you. I mentioned it as a positive, but the USB power doesn't charge my phone with any speed at all. I don't think this is a huge deal as it allows smaller lights to be powered off the unit, but this isn't going to take your phone from 10 to 100% with any speed. A bigger drawback as I continue to upgrade and expand my kit, this unit does not have CRMX, which makes it less likely to be pulled out in the future. No 300 watt light has this though that I'm aware of, so this is kind of a drawback for every light in that area. But with a 300D having so many positives for it, felt like this one needed to be said. Lastly, a drawback of 300 watt lights in general, punching them through a thicker piece of diffusion doesn't always give me the output that I'm looking for. What this means instead is that instead of reaching for this light, I'm often pulling out my 600D Pro to get that soft look that the DPs are going for. Actually, this is a great time to start talking about some of the competition. Since the Aputure 300D has been out, a few competitors have released lights hoping to take their share of this market. Let's take a quick look at some of the more popular options and how they stack up. The Amaran 200D is the first unit I want to bring up, coming in at only $300. This thing is essentially as bright as the 300D at only 1/3 the price. The Fresnel also works on this thing, and it has an umbrella mount so that you can achieve large diffuse lighting inexpensively. The only drawbacks to me about this unit are the plastic build quality, the fan noise, and the lack of a separate ballast. The Forza 300 is a great unit. I don't see it on a lot of sets for some reason, but I have heard wonderful things about the Nanlite app from other gaffers who use Nanlite products. The Forza 500 is in the same boat. It's another Forza product that's close enough to this price point that it's worth considering. If you're looking into either of these lights, I'd highly recommend the videos made by Andrew Locke on Gaffer and Gear. The Aputure 600D Non-Pro, coming in at $1,400, works with all of the same accessories as the 300D Mark II. If you're concerned the 300 might not give you the output that you're looking for, then this is a great alternative. The Aputure 600D Pro at $1,900, I'm pretty much bringing this out on every set, guaranteed. Lastly, the ProLight Orion 300 FS, coming in at $2,150. This light was just released last year, and while it's a full spectrum light instead of just daylight balanced, this light is really the cream of the crop when it comes to the 300 watt range. This light does not have CRMX though, so it's kind of got the same drawback as the Aputure, and you are paying over twice as much for this light. We've covered the pros, the cons, and what else is on the market. So with all this being said, who do I think the Aputure 300D Mark II is for? Frankly, even 3 years later, this light is easily a step above in quality compared to what's available by other manufacturers at the 300 watt output range. Except for you, ProLight. If a 300 watt light is what you're looking for, and do you want pro quality without dropping thousands of dollars, then you really need to look no further. Some other people that I would recommend this light to: run and gun professionals who travel frequently or who would like to go battery powered. This is an incredibly packable light, and operating off commonly found V-mount batteries means that you can affordably power this using those batteries. One-man band DP or cam ops who are getting very consistent work, As long as you're not trying to balance against the sun, this light is more than powerful enough to get a flattering look in most of the scenarios you're going to find yourself in. Creators who are looking to upgrade their studio, I wouldn't recommend a light at this price to someone just starting out, but if you have some following and you know that it's time for an upgrade, then I can guarantee that this is a light that's going to be worth it and you're going to be satisfied with. Finally, I recommend this light to people who feel it's valuable to enter the ecosystem of Aputure. You may be eyeing a career in gaffing like me, or you just appreciate being in an ecosystem where everything works together well. Either way, you're investing in quality gear that has proven itself on demanding sets time and time again. This brings us to the last part. Who do I think can pass on this light for the time being? Working gaffers like myself might consider saving for the 600D Pro instead. If I purchase a CRMX dongle for this unit, I may as well have just bought the 600D Pro anyway for the same cost. Also, all of the accessories that work for the 300 also work for the 600D, like the spotlight. I can also bill more for the 600 as a rental, so after the initial investment is paid off, I'm going to continue to have a higher ROI. Those of you who are just getting started on your film journey, I recommend that you save your money. I know how hard it is to look at all the features and drool over the nicest things, but for beginning creators, you may want to consider the Amaran 200D for just a third the price. It's a robust little unit with the same Bowens mounting system as the 300D. What this means is you can save your money on the light and buy some nice modifiers. Then, as you grow as a creator, you can eventually upgrade your light and have the best of both worlds. As an idea of what you can get started with, I personally played with an FS300, FS150, and two 80-watt GVMs as my first kit. One last thing before I let you go, let's bust out the tinfoil hats. Could you be investing right as this light is going to see an update? Is the 300D Pro version going to come out soon? The Aputure development team has already put CRMX in their MT Pro tube lights and have confirmed a release of MC Pros, so it's not a question of size or output or age of the unit being a limiting factor to seeing an update. This is entirely unsubstantiated, but I do think it's plausible that Aputure would want to have a Pro version of their best-selling unit and that we could see this in the next few years. Nobody else has CRMX on a 300-watt light, so being the first to corner this segment of the market would likely be very profitable for them. All right, that does it. Let me know down below if you found any of this useful, or if you have any other questions about this light that I didn't cover. If you aren't already, make sure that you're subscribed and click the bell icon so that you're notified every time I release a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.